Yeah, this is 10.
All right. Welcome. Welcome. I'm jumping in, Corey. I'm doing it live.
Go, go,
Tr-
go.
Trimming the Fat, episode 10. We are live. It's fantastic. Today, we're going to talk about why your health has to be number one, your number one priority, in order to be successful in this journey. I think it's a fantastic topic. I know for me, I had to hit rock bottom. I had to have a doctor tell me I was straight up fat and I was facing a full knee replacement. And I was going down a very lethal path for me to realize that my health really was number one. I thought I could do it on my own. I was wrong. I had to ask for help. And if you know me, that's one of the worst things about me. I do not ask for help, but I finally got on bended knee and I said, "Hey, I need help, please." And that's when I reached out to my doctor, who's a non surgical weight loss obesity doctor. And that was the beginning of the end of me being a fat guy.
See, I have a slightly different view on why your health has to be number one for weight loss, is because I'm going to break it down a little bit. We all like to set goals. So like, I want to lose 200 pounds. And that's fantastically great to have that goal of losing 200 pounds or whatever. But I think if you kind of break it down a little bit, and if you don't lose weight for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, you hit some kind of plateau, then all of a sudden your goal kind of comes crashing down because you aren't stepping towards it. Whereas if you're focused on, I just want to eat healthy, I just want to live healthy, I want to get some good exercise in, I want to make sure my nutrition's right, that's my goal. Coincidentally, weight loss is a byproduct of that. So if you focus on, living how you want to live or the lifestyle you need to live to eventually obtain those goals, I think it kind of shifts that focus a little bit off of, man, I didn't lose any weight this week. No, I didn't, but I ate great and I got some good exercise in. So I know I'm on the same path that I need to be on.
Yeah, that's where I'm at actually on that because I haven't been my weight's not been going down like I want it to. But I know I've been doing the right things. I know I haven't been overeating or any of that. So for me, I I like my health at the number one spot because I put all my effort into it. Like that's my number one thing, right? So all day long I'm thinking of what can I do to better myself, whether it's, my weight, physical weight, or my mental health or any of that. So I'm just trying to focus on what can I do to be better. And with it being my number one priority, it's awesome because like if you go through my phone, I've got like 15 pages open of different health related things, whether it's exercising or meals or whatever, meditation. It's number, and I put all my effort into it because that's my number one thing. I want to live a healthy life, not only for myself but for my kids, my wife, my family. So, and I can't live a good life if I'm not able to do anything I want to do.
Absolutely.
I know. I think that I know we've talked about before about the research you do into figuring this out, right? Once you're committed to it, once you have that positive mental health, once you decided to go down that healthy path, when you start jumping into the research portion of it, like on the fly, right? How do I unlock everything? How do I unlock this cheat code even more, right? How do I understand
Yep.
food better? Why am I eating all this food and still being hungry? And oh, I'm not eating the right foods. Oh, I'm not, as Corey says, and he puts the stress on fiber. He's 100% correct. We're eating crap, like literally manufactured processed foods that are high in sugar. We're not giving our bodies what it truly needs to be a high performance machine. It's like, getting, putting crappy gas into a race car. That's what we've been doing for our whole lives. And the crazy thing about humans is we're so in tune with our food without knowing it that with the sugars and everything else, it becomes such a highly addictive process. And we become slaves to sugar and slaves to bad foods without it even realizing it because we don't know. And I had this conversation with my mom actually, and just the amount of knowledge information that's come out in the past 20 or 30 years about food, your body, and how they work together. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing that, you know, as humans, we've lived as long as we have with the
Yeah.
kind of shitty diets that have been around for a long time, especially with, I think with our generation, you know, folks that are born in, I guess, in the mid late 70s into the, I guess they call it the micro generation of the Zennials, right? In between the Gen X and the Millennials, where we grew up when everyone had a TV and everyone had a microwave and everyone had fast food. And we're the first generation to grow up in that. And when we were younger, it was healthy, right? It was seemingly perceived as healthier foods. But now as we're all adults, it's like, whoa, no,
Yeah.
no, we're eating like yoga mats with sugar on it, dude. It's not good at all. But
Yeah.
putting that as number one thing, and diving in and accepting that, okay, look, I've been eating like crap for the past 40 or 30 or whatever years, but now I'm like, and I hate using this term, but I'm woke to it, right? That, you know, all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, I understand this now, and I've got to change those habits. And, you know, in the groups we're all in, that you see people starting their journey and they're asking for this help, and the first step is always the easiest. It's like, dude, look at your diet, track your calories, track what you're eating. And I know one of the trainer guys was commenting on this thread today, and I was like, yo, again, it's one of those people that have never been fat, right? Like that so someone that maybe had hippies for parents and taught them how to eat right from Jump Street, or most of us, I know for me especially, I didn't realize how horribly bad my diet was until I truly started tracking everything, like my fitness pal and different apps. I'm like, and I mentioned it before in different podcasts we've done, but like I remember, you know, getting the wrap and a salad because I thought it was better, and it was actually more fat and more calories than getting a bacon cheeseburger and fries. And I was like, and of course, you know, I went down rabbit holes and about lobbyists and about why we eat what we eat and how we eat it, and I got mad at myself. But then then I realized, it's like, look, you know what? This is what made me who I am today. And I can't change that, but I can learn from it. And I can take every day forward as a new day to make better decisions, and to make myself just a better person. And then with this journey, it's about being a healthier person, and being healthier for my family and for my kids, and to teach my son how to eat better, and my daughter how to eat better when she starts eating real foods. But, you know, I want to make sure that they don't make those mistakes that I made, you know, that thinking like, oh, I can go get a couple McDoubles and a couple spicy McChickens and a Coke, and that's good to go because it's protein and carbs and a Coke. I'm fine. But it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's you know, a really valid point, because we could spend all day going over food and where it started at and go down the whole thing of where it's at. But the reality is you have to focus. And as you said, in the groups, every day somebody's posting something. Well, is this okay? And I really have to bite my tongue, because I'm at the point to where, you know, honestly, shit is still shit. You know, you can have slightly better shit or really bad shit, but it's still bad. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's always a compromise. And that's where I think, you know, some of that is a challenge, is to mentally be focused. No, I want the best fuel that I can possibly have. Or am I still going to make these compromises that, well, this is okay? And we all cross certain bridges at certain times where things are at. But I think if you focus mainly on just your health, just, you know, what is the best diet for, you know, heart disease? What is the best diet to prevent cancer? What are the best diets that is for your body? Because realistically, our body, if you haven't noticed, is extremely resilient. I mean, we eat crap, and it somehow still manages where there's no real nutrition there. I can't really do much to it, but I'll convert it to fat to where later on, if we're in a starvation mode, we can still use it somehow. I mean,
Yep.
we can do amazing things. And it flips on the other side, where a lot of people say, well, I'm fat and I can't do this, or I can't do that, or my body just hates me, or, you know, my body. No, your body's efficient at doing what you've given it, and you've trained it to do that. You know, you've trained it to store fat, because the food that you've given it to, that's its only value, is to be stored as fat. Our body also has the ability that when you start giving it great fuel, it can start fixing itself in
Yeah.
every possible way. That same miraculous ability that we have to be resilient, we also have to be repairing and progressing. You know, it's not the instant order it on Amazon, it's going to be here in 2 days crap, but
Right.
it still works.
Right. And that's the craziest thing about it, though. It takes you 20 years to get all that weight. but you can lose it in 6 months if you do it right. Even if you just change your diet, tweak it a little bit here and there, and all of a sudden your body's like, oh yeah, give me more of that stuff. That's the stuff I really like. I've been dealing with this sugar and processed bullshit for 20 years. Give me the good protein and fiber and the veggies and some fruits. Man, we can rock and roll all night. And
Absolutely.
man, that's such a great point, man. Like when I first, like when I made that switch, right, I went hardcore for like 3 months. I just started eating clean. I cut out booze, I cut out soda, I cut out everything processed. I cooked at homes, like Corey, what you said before, like eating pretty much anything, like basically just whole foods or things with just only like 7 ingredients or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Nothing out of the box. I just kept it as simple and as tasty as possible, and it gave my body a reset. And then, like, man, the sleep is better. I mean, the sex is better. I mean, going to the bathroom's easier, man. Like, I mean, it's everything. All of a sudden, your body completely reacts to how you fuel it, and food is fuel. And changing your mindset and getting rid of those addictions, like we've talked about in other episodes, it's the hardest part about it, because you crave that mentally, not necessarily physically. I think the physical craving goes away after just a few short days, but it's really hard to get over those physical addictions to it, or mental addictions, I should say.
Mhm.
But before I forget this point, when you were talking earlier, it reminded me of I keep seeing this. Someone says this every time people talking about, like, how do I lose weight? And it's like, oh, just get the caloric deficit, blah, blah, blah. True. But someone always says this, oh, you can lose weight eating 2,000 calories of Snickers a day. Yeah, maybe initially, but then you get to be diabetic and everything else is going to kill you. But I mean, yes, I mean, like, I think that if you take someone that's has just completely horrible nutrition, and for some reason a Snickers bar or eating like 2,000 calories of Snickers is a better than their diet, then technically yes, but that's very short term, and please don't do that.
Yeah, all
If anyone's
calories
listening to this thing,
are not made the
don't do this.
same.
Right.
No,
Mhm.
it's not, man. It's not. I mean, fuel your body with good foods, and that it's not it doesn't have to be expensive. It just be basic. Just be basic. Get I mean, apples and bananas and carrots and celery and chicken and tofu, or what all the crazy stuff Corey does. But I mean, like, for us normal people, you can eat red meat and chicken breasts and pork loin and stuff like that. Just don't fucking fry everything.
Yeah.
Don't fry. Like, what I hate is, like, I did this one girl in my 20s, and she was a vegan, right? And she took like 85 pills to supplement, protein and stuff like that. But there's always the like the chubby friend that's always a vegan, and that was my joke. It's like, yeah, being plant-based, like what Corey's doing, is 100% right, because you're doing it right, Corey. But, like, a lot of fat vegans out there, I hate to break it to you, but don't fry your tofu. Don't deep fry it and dip it in ranch and expect
Right.
to be healthy. You can't deep fry anything and dip it in ranch and expect to be healthy. Because I've worked, when I was in the restaurant industry, I worked with people like that. It's like, well, I'm a vegan. I'm like, dude, you're like, you beer battered some fucking tofu, man. That's not the same.
Right.
That's not you can't tempura everything, man. Just, like, eat some raw veggies every now and again.
Because your body sees, canola oil. Okay, yeah, it's plant based, but it's still broke down oil. It's pretty much like lard. You might as well. It's still a complete
Hmm.
concentrated, nutrient empty fat that your body just instantly takes as calories because it can't seem to do anything else with it. You're right, and
Right.
so many people. Well, like I got to a little earlier, crap food is still crap food. Whether it's an Oreo cookie that's vegan, or olive oil, versus something that's whole and real and all of it with it. And the same thing, like you said, you can eat pork, you can eat meat, you can eat these things, but realistically, if you aren't feeding the diversity of what your body needs, the whole plant, the whole nutritional spectrum, what you're getting out of broccoli and cauliflower and all these other things, if you're not giving your body that whole spectrum of things, don't expect it to react instantly. It's just not going to
Yeah.
happen. If you limit yourself to where I'm going to only eat one thing, and I don't care what it is, if it's broccoli, if I only eat broccoli, guess what? I'm not given the diversity and the fiber that I need. I'm not giving it diversity and nutrition that I need. I'm not giving it enough to do something great. Whereas if you have this great diversity of great, fresh, whole, solid foods, get all this nutrition, all these things that your body can go, ooh, we can work with this. Oh, yeah, we like that. Yeah, we can do this. Oh, what we were holding on to this for, we don't need that now. We're getting plenty of this other stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep, talking.
go ahead. We ran over you all the time. Go.
I say talking about this food. I recently did an episode on, food, talking about over the past like 50 years, and I did an interview with another guy that was telling me about food, and he brought up there was a study done, I think in Paris, of they took a rat and they were feeding it the grain that the FDA approved for us, and for the FDA to approve it, it's got to be 1 year of testing, and if that 1 year is good, they'll let it go. Well, this one dude took the rat and fed it grain its entire life, and he said 3, 4, 5 years in, the rat started developing tumors because of the grain and like all the pesticides and everything that they put on it. So it is just crazy, like you were saying, shit food is still shit food, and pick it out, the 7 ingredients.
Yeah,
it is a insane what bad food can do to you.
What's
and
crazy,
yeah, I mean, like, go ahead.
what's crazy is some of the stuff that has been rejected to be used in animals, they've turned to use in human consumption, because MSG was, I'm pretty sure, designed to fatten turkeys. The problem was that fattened them so bad so fast they couldn't get them to market in time. So they said, well, what are we going to do with this MSG? We created it. Hey, let's feed the humans with it. Let's add it as an additive. Now we have it. We can subsidize this. We can move this direction. And guess what? We don't care enough to realize that, it's not going to be that bad. A billion fat people and the highest death rate, and that is staggering in numbers of how many things are weight related or bad diet related. It's a thing. We need to wake up and realize that, heart disease and cancer and all of these things are coming from bad nutrition. We aren't taking care of ourselves. We aren't giving ourselves what we need.
Yep.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I mean, the FDA, I mean, I think we all know it's a lobbyist organization. So they're going to approve whatever they need to approve to get the most amount of money. And point in case, when I was in college, I went to Rome for a week, and in Rome, it was the same thing. Like, everything was super fresh all the time. Meals take a long time. You enjoy every meal. The markets are closed for a couple hours in the afternoon. Everyone kind of takes a nap, and then at dinner, everything's fresh again. And I had an absolute blast there for obvious reasons. I mean, it was Rome. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. If you haven't ever been, please go. But when I came home, I was sick for 2 weeks because of all the crap that was in the foods we eat. I mean, now I wasn't eating good by any means then anyway, but like, it was just amazing to me. Just things that that you think are decently healthy, they really aren't. And it's not just by US standards. I mean, like, global standards, our food is horrible. And
Right.
yeah, and that's a thing I've told a lot of my friends, and like, shout out to my boy Jason Gates, who's on this journey now too, and he keeps texting me with his updates, and I love it. But they it's such an uphill battle, and I think that with this pandemic, there's a lot of missed opportunities for people to learn how to cook at home. I think people just got on the DoorDash and got fat. And I know a lot of friends in general have gained a lot of weight, and they always give me a lot of props for being consistent to this whole thing. And I'm like, look, I cook every day. And like, my wife teaches in class, my kids go to daycare, and I'm working from home. So I get to cook every day, and I love to cook. So it's a lot easier for me that way. But if I gain weight, it's because I choose to right now. I mean, I'm in complete control of that. And I'm in complete control of everything that goes into every meal, and that's on me. And I think it goes back to like personal accountability, right? You have to put health first. You have to decide this today. And if I know a lot of people talk about quitting. How do you kick the fast food cravings? Well, you don't have to. Just understand what you're ordering, and if you have to go to fast food, be that difficult person that orders, like, I want I know we have Whataburger down here, and you can tell them you're keto and you want to have like a bunch of, beef patties and vegetables, and they'll hook you up, yeah, but you have to be smart about it. And when I was going through the journey, like my wife and kids, at the time, she was pregnant, and she's like, I must have Whataburger. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Well, what the hell am I going to do? Because I'm going to smell it, want to eat it. But yeah, they had grilled chicken fajita tacos on there. So boom, there you go.
Yep. I got to
Just
go
make
to
it.
training in Chicago this next week for 2 days.
What part?
Naperville.
Oh, nice.
So,
I have family out there.
yeah.
Stay away from Giordano's.
Okay. Well, I've already searched out every vegetarian restaurant, and we've
Oh,
already
nice.
started cooking or preparing the food that'll actually store long enough for me to go, and what grocery stores are going to be the closest, because it's for training. So obviously they're going to provide lunch, they're going to provide dinner. It's one of those, things where, oh yeah, we'll feed you good. And I know these things, half of it is training, half of it is sales pitch for, you to become a brand, uh, I don't know the word I want to.
Ambassador.
Well, I don't want to say
Oh,
ambassador, but
influencer.
you have to be drunk on the brand. They want to get you to
Right.
where you're just 100% brand loyal, and they'll do whatever
Mhm.
they need to try to get you, sold on it. And that's one of the ways, free drinks and alcohol and this and that, which, generally is a good time. But the rep that I've been talking to on it, I told him, no, I'm not, I don't partake in this, or this. And you could tell instantly in his voice, it's like, well, we want you as a dealership for this and everything. You could tell that there was something that was heartbreaking to him. It's like, no, see, that's the problem with me, is same with, nutrition, and the same as how I run business is, you got to bring 100% quality. It has to be 100% real. I don't do fluff. Fluff is for other people. I only do great things. But getting back to it is, my health is the priority. It is,
Right.
strategically where I'm going, that everyone around me, I don't care if you think I'm that weird guy that only eats, vegetables or whatever, I'm not that hippie kind of thing. But I also know that me going down this direction of, an all you can eat, steakhouse dinner with as many drinks as you want, is a bad road for me. It's not a bad
Right.
decision that night. It's a bad decision for the next possible 6 months, that it can throw me off track, because that's my weakness. I start drinking beer. I didn't gain that much weight from that. I can now have beer more often. I don't need that in my head. I need my mental focus to be on my health 100%. I
Right.
Yep.
don't need the diversion.
Yeah, I think that once you can travel and be successful traveling, especially for work things and on this journey, it's huge. I know for me, when I was going through it, I traveled a lot, and I was going to places where there was a lot of really good food. I went to Chicago. I went up to the Northeast. I was down in South Texas. I mean, like, it was always same kind of thing: steak dinners, big meals, lots of alcohol, that kind of stuff. But you have to pick your poisons. And for me, you know, I know I've said this before, but I have to earn every day. So for me, I have to get up every morning and work out, because that's my accountability tool for myself. I get up, go to the bathroom, weigh myself, work out, weigh myself again, and then I'm good. But it's if I don't get that morning workout in, then I'm in a danger zone. Then that's when I'm like helping people clean their plates. That's when I'm sneaking a couple of cookies that if someone wants cookies, okay, I'll go get them for you. Oh, you want cookies? I got it. I was getting up anyway. Let me like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not eating cookies. But that's like for me, and like, so for me, I know my personality, and I've done that much introspection, right? I've done that soul searching, and I know that I need to do these things every day for me to be successful throughout the day. And since I've changed my life and my mental outlook, mental whatever, I can't think of the word for it, but because I made health number one, that's the way I do it for me. And that's, we all have different ways of doing it. And you kind of curate that path, right? Like, how do you get in control of your mind? Because as much in control as we are, which sometimes we're not, how do we get around that? What are the cheats? For me, it's like I was unlocking the cheat codes, and now those cheat codes are my mainstays, and that's kind of how I live my life.
And I also want to add, when you focus on, that exercise first thing the next day or any point in time, I don't know if you realize this, but I know I do, that if I go to exercise and I've eaten crappy the day before or the night before or whatever, or that
Performance.
morning, you can tell. I mean, whether you actually correlate it 1 to 1 or not, you can tell directly that, well, I overdid it. Your workout after a night of drinking the next morning,
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel fantastic with that workout.
Well, I mean, in a way I do, because I'm sweating at the demons, but in reality, the performance is there. I mean, 100%. And I know I'm in tune with my body enough now where I 100% know that. But to your point, Corey, what happens is when I have poor nutrition and if I drink and then I still work out, the voices creep in of like, okay, you can quit now. You've done enough. Not like, hey, we're gonna do 20 miles a day, or hey, we're gonna do this workout today. You get to a certain point, you're like, man, yeah, it's good enough. And but that's all that's all the bad foods, and that's all the alcohol, and that's everything else saying, hey, you know what? No big deal. But if I'm doing it right, then it's like hell. Let's go for 5 more miles. Let's go for 5 more reps. Let's do something else. Or I'll go on a 20-mile bike ride and I do a quick little kettlebell workout just because I'm feeling a little bit extra because diet was on point. I'm feeling great. I slept great. I had that big healthy, stool in the morning.
Right. Well, and
Yep.
we, our performance is based on our fuel, our
Yeah.
food. And even right now, this is the time where I really, really love losing weight or being, at the point that I am now, because I'm still obese. I'm still really fat. And to everybody else, I'm fat. But then when I put in an 8-hour day of solid physical labor and then turn around and do something that evening, or I keep going and I'm putting in, this 10, 12 hours that, 4 months ago would have literally killed me. And you have other people who are trying, who are look fit or look, healthy in a sense. And that's, I really love the look on people's face when they go, how do you do all this? What are you doing? I'm feeding my body what it needs, even though I'm fat and out of weight and over shape and out of, even though I'm all messed up, just by that extra little bit of giving my body what it needs, my performances go up everywhere. And whether
Yeah.
that's, just walking, recovery, as you said earlier, in the bedroom, all
And
that
that's a good
performance.
segue to say congratulations to Corey. Number 5 is on the way.
No, no.
um,
But no,
with
no,
me,
yeah. Sorry, go
like
ahead.
like you guys were talking about how I lost it. I can't remember what I want to say is, like, if my health isn't my number one on my list, it's so much easier to slack, right?
Yeah.
So like if my number one, number two, and then health and trying to eat right's number three, well, a
Yeah.
Reese's isn't
But
going to hurt
yeah,
me today, and then
dude,
later today the energy drink's not going to bother me. But
dude,
if I keep it on,
you had to say Reese's.
I love it.
Oh my God. Peanut butter cups, the peanut butter eggs, the Christmas trees. I'm such a fat guy. But no, when you take health out of number one, for me at least, that's when I'm like, man, I don't need my accountability anymore. And that's how simple it is for me. Like, it's like, oh, don't need to do it today. And
I'm good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a shitty day. Like in the past couple of weeks for me, been up and down. I put it on, I gained 10 pounds and I've lost half of it back. And I know it's just how I've changed my diet for the worse because I was stress eating, because the house deal fell apart and then it came back online and this happened and that, blah, blah. But you, when you mentally recenter yourself and you take control of that and you say, no, this is my priority. This is going to be my priority today. And that's the thing I was saying earlier about accepting your past made you who you are and moving forward day by day. That's something I learned in college, man. Existential therapy was huge for me to get through a lot of my problems. And it was like, look, you can't change the past. You can't change yesterday. You can't change 20 minutes ago. But what'd you learn? What did you learn? And how can you make the choice better next time?
You're
And
right.
and if it's setting your own daily goals. Every day you wake up, you look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, Adam, you got this today. Yeah, let's go. Or every day you wake up and health is number one. And sometimes you have to audibly say it and look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and say it for it to stick. And as corny as that sounds, I know I've talked about it on my little video updates, but it's the truth, man. Like, you're the only person that'll keep you 100% accountable. And if you look yourself in the mirror, and say it out loud to yourself, you look a little crazy, but it sticks better. It's kind of like when you're memorizing stuff and you're running it out 2 or 3 times to really make it stick. It's the same exercise, and it really makes a difference. And then when you start really truly believing it, man, it's amazing. Like, everything changes, and all the good foods taste better. All the bad foods taste worse. And you start not wanting them at all. And it's really easy to say no. Or it's really easy when people say, hey, I'm going out to lunch. You want to go? I'm like, yeah, I do. But let you guys know I'm on this plan and I don't plan on falling off it. So I'm gonna be that difficult guy ordering crap at lunch. All right, cool, man. You look great. Let's go. That kind of stuff. But it's really, you really just got to do it, man. You got to put yourself out there and find those ways and the ways that work for you. And
Well,
you can try my way or Corey's way or Luke's way and find out really what works.
Well, I think that book, You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, I think there's a section in there about the accountability mirror and about being honest with yourself. And I think that's where, some people have a really hard time getting to that point. I know when I talk to people, I always relate to myself as fat. And some people automatically just, oh, you can't say that. You need to be nicer to yourself. It's like, hold on. No, I don't. Because I don't like me being fat. I'm being honest with myself. And that's a hell of a lot better than me being nice to myself. I don't
Well,
need to be nice to me. You can be nice to me. I need to be
right.
real with me. I need to
That's what-
realize I don't want to be fat. It's an honest thing. And
Yeah.
that comes to where you can't be accountable if you can't be honest. If you can't just be like, no, I don't want this. And call a spade a spade. It's a reality.
Right.
If it
Yeah.
offends you that I'm fat, or that I say I'm fat, too bad for you. You aren't on my side, because you need to be saying,
Right.
hey, you're still overweight. Let's keep going. I need that person on my side. I need the person pushing me as well. Being like, yep, you're still fat, buddy. Let's walk a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100%, man. And like I've said this before in different times. My buddy Ryan was the only person, and I'm all everyone, and I love my friends and family, and they're kind and this and the other. But Ryan, damn, that guy was like, hey, what's up, fat ass? Like, he tell me in my face, and I thought it was like a loving jab from like an older brother type, but that was his way of being like, yo, dude, get your shit together. But now again, he's one of my biggest cheerleaders. Like, he's the first one to be like, he'll give me a big hug and be like in my ear, be like, God damn, it feels good to be able to put my arms around you. I'm like, damn, man, maybe we can make out later, but calm down for now.
Right?
But to your point, Corey, I mean, I think that once you've gotten in control of your own mental attitude and you're on this path, calling yourself fat and being honest about it, it's huge. It's a big freeing event. It's saying, yes, I'm fat, or yes, I'm chubby, or I feel fat, or like, it doesn't matter what it is, but own it.
Right.
It's who you are. But like, you can change that, and that's the beautiful thing about it.
Yep. When I'm walking upstairs and my knee starts burning and killing me, I don't sit there and say my damn knee. I sit there and say, if I can drop another 150 pounds, it probably isn't going to hurt as bad.
Yep.
No, it still hurts. It still hurts.
I
I mean, I hate stairs, and I'm buying a 2-story house. I mean,
I got some crap the other day because I was talking about how I was unhappy with myself. And a lot of the times I talk about me being unhappy with myself is because I'm fat. Well, it's not only that, there's tons behind it. And that's what people need to understand, that it's my weight is a huge part of one of my, my biggest issues. Right. But my weight also makes me lazy because I'm so big. I don't want to get up and do that. Or, I'm always tired, because I'm carrying around 422 pounds. That's exhausting. Right. So
have you gotten your CPAP yet?
Well, next episode, we'll talk about that.
We're talking about health now. I mean, that's part of your health.
No, but I did just reach my deductible on my insurance. I got,
All right.
I
Well,
got to go get a. She told me my thyroid was swollen. I was like, well, can I tell people I'm fat because of that? And she's like, not until we get your results back. So, but
it's not helping. Let's put it that way. But dude, if your deductible's up, man, get that machine. That's gonna help a lot. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not to give you a jab, but just out of my curiosity, I was gonna ask you anyway offline. But dude, I mean, that's gonna help a lot. I mean, that's
yeah,
for me, getting my sleep apnea under control was a huge catalyst. I mean, it gives you that much more energy because you're actually sleeping. But to your point, like, yeah, I mean, like everything hurts and it's hard to move around, and that is a big part of it. And being and talking about it, even whether it's in a negative light, like about yourself being fat, and other people that aren't fat get offended by it, well, that's their own damn problem. But I mean, like, a lot of times it's cathartic, man. It's therapy saying about it, right?
yeah,
Like, I've told the story about me going in from my torn my knee issues, right? And my doctor telling me I was fat. I told that story like probably 1,000 times, and it doesn't get old for me because it reinforces what I've done in the past couple of years, and
yeah,
and with the path I'm currently on, and how it's going to be a lifelong path, and I'm okay with that. And I know my wife probably hates hearing the same story. Okay, here he goes again. Yeah,
Right.
you're fat. You were fat. We get it. No, but you gotta
I,
talk about it, man. You
I
do.
think it's nice to have a reality check though to realize that, you know, the feelings and remembering where you were at and why you made the changes, or you know, the things that are better now. It's okay to smack yourself in the face every once in a while, even if you or your spouse or somebody gets tired of that story. It's nice to realize that, you know what, I didn't like having, you know, X happen, or I hated having to stop after 3 steps on the stairs and stand there for a second and catch my breath,
Yeah.
you
mhm.
know.
Yeah.
And I
So
never want to go back there.
no,
Right.
no. And for me, like leading up to me actually saying I need help, we had gone to New Orleans as a family, Amar and Benjamin and I, and one of my good buddies and his wife and kids are there. They're New Orleanians, and we go there at least once a year anyway. And it's a very pedestrian town, and it was the same thing. Like I could walk a little bit, then man, my knee really hurts. And this is after like I actually tore, yeah, I injured my knee. But even before that, I knew that I only had X amount of time before I need to take a break, or like, hey, let's go check out this shop, or hey, let's go over here and check this out, right? And do this, that, and the other. And then finally, it was on the way home. Like she saw how much pain I was in. Every night I had to put my leg up and ice my knee down. And on the way home, I actually used on the drive home, I used cruise control, and I never used cruise control. I hate cruise control. And she's like, "Hey, are you using cruise control?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Go to the damn doctor for your knee already." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will."
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
for me, on touching on that, like I always have dreams of doing some crazy things with the family. Like I want to go on hike this, whatever. But there came to a point where like we went to Niagara last year. We were driving through and we were like, let's go check out the falls. And I'm sitting down every couple steps. My knee is killing me. And I've told this story over and over, but my 6-year-old was like, do you need to sit down? And I'm like, that hurt me so bad because he shouldn't have to worry about that.
Mhm.
Right. That's not his thing to worry. And like what Corey, you were talking about in that video you just released, like going on that walk, 100 yards in. And I always say, let's go do this, let's go do that. And it's always something similar to that where we're going to have to do a lot of walk and there's going to be climbing. It's going to be, my knee's going to hate me.
Right.
And I, I, I don't want to do that. Right. So like me losing the weight that I have, my knee's feeling a lot better and I can do more and more, which is amazing. I don't know why I got on this little tangent, but I was, yeah,
It's awesome, man.
it's great to be able to do that.
I think to anyone that's listening, if you have those moments of the stuff that you want to do, write them down. Keep a notebook, keep a journal of all the things you want to do, and add that to your why. Add that to like what's really fueling this, and work towards those. I mean, those are huge things. Like I want to go back, and there's this big enchanted rock here in Texas, and then one of my best friends got married right there. But a bunch of people are gonna go hike it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'll catch you guys next time. You know, total bullshit excuse. I wanted to go do that, and now I feel like I can run up it. But
Yeah.
but stuff like that, like I mean, I definitely think list making and journaling is a huge part of the healing piece of this. And it keeps yourself accountable, but making those to dos. Like I want to go on this hike that I couldn't do before. I want to go to Niagara Falls and do that. I want to do Enchanted Rock and this, that, and the other. It reminds me of that meme about, you know, someone going up on a hike with all the gear and this, that, and the other. It's like, just calm down there, Rambo. My 3-year-old just did this in a pair of Crocs carrying a headless Barbie, you know?
Right.
But
Yeah.
for me, it's like, those are the things. Like I remember in high school, like I went down to Big Bend National Park and did like a 30-mile hike in a couple of days with a buddy of mine. And like, I want to get back to that. And I want to be able to do that with my kids, just like you guys do. And that's the whole thing about it. It's like crap, man. Like when I was younger, I was so in shape and without even trying. But now
Right.
flash forward 20, 30 years, and it's like, damn, I gotta try really hard to be in good shape and
Yeah,
not round.
it takes effort. I mean, the older you get, the harder everything gets. And everybody says it. And until you actually get to that, because I've done more than one weight loss session, will show, so to speak. And, this time, even though I'm losing weight steady and I'm losing it good, my diet's better than what it has been any other time. Everything's there, but the weight's actually coming off slower now
Yep.
than what it has in the past. And I have a lot more knowledge, a lot more ability, and a lot more, going on in support or in the direction of being very efficient at weight loss, but it's not going as fast as what it has in the past. And it's one of those that it's kind of a bothersome that, man, if I would have done this right here 15 years ago, I'd already be down 150 pounds. And a lot of people would be like, oh, that's not possible. No, I know, because I lost 100 pounds in the same time frame, and I was doing this, and this wrong. Yeah, I could lose that
Mm-hmm.
much weight if I would have done it then. But that time's passed. I'm here now, and I got to stay focused, because I also know I backslide that much quicker now. That health goes both ways. It's slower to be healthier, but it's faster on the downcline. It doesn't take as much now. That one little hiccup for me, I know, has more of an effect than what it would have 15 years ago. That it has to be a priority for me.
But do you feel like you're more in the driver's seat now, more in control of the journey than you were before in previous attempts?
Oh yes, absolutely. I finally everything clicked, and not only just you know knowledge wise, but mentally wise and ability wise. When I say ability wise, is being able to exercise around my own limitations, or things like that. Because previously it'd be like, I'm not doing that because my knee hurts. Well, guess what? I have an entire rest of my body that can use some exercise other than that damn knee.
Yeah.
Okay, that hurts. Do some other shit. It's okay.
Also, I'm not sure if you guys use knee sleeves at all, but so Ray-Ban, REHBAND, Ray-Ban is a company that makes these awesome neoprene knee sleeves that I used to use during powerlifting, and they're great for keeping your knee warm during all those strenuous exercises. But when my knees hurt really bad back in the day, I would just throw those on, and it would keep the blood circulating better. It's
Mhm.
almost like, you know, I mean, they're not cheap. I think they're like 40, $50 a piece, but
Right.
damn, do they work? I mean, if you're having knee issues and you're trying to get through a workout, you might want to consider them. Just throwing it out
Absolutely.
there.
And there's always, well, like I said, there's ways to work around certain exercises. I know exactly what's wrong with my knee, and I know exactly where my problems come from. And there's a way I can exercise every muscle around it, because I understand the problem with it. I know that I cannot do impact exercises. It's just not feasible for me at all. It doesn't mean I can't do no impact exercises. There's a rowing machine out there. Guess what works fantastic for my quads and my lower back and my hips, and works right around that has absolutely no impact on my knee. Did it cost me a little bit of money? Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to invest in my health, and I know that that's something I can do around that. There's other things that you can do as well, and I think that's, your health has to be first enough, just as like you do, Luke, is you study, you educate yourselves. You got to put that effort into, because you're worth the time to actually learn what's going on with you, whether it's mentally, physically, whatever, and you put that, education in, and you put it to work. Like my cooking ability and my wife's cooking ability now on being able to, cook broccoli. There's 1,000 different ways to cook broccoli. Some ways is a heck of a lot better than others. Or Brussels sprouts. Everybody hates the little dirt balls, but you know what? You marinate that in a little balsamic vinegar. You put a nice little glaze on it with that. There's ways to do things where all of a sudden, that's not a dirty little dirt ball anymore. That's not half bad.
Oh man, it's funny. I actually bought some today. So
right, but it's that education process where if you did it like my mom did it, well, I boiled it for a few minutes and here you go. That tastes like crap.
Yeah, I poached this in a sea of butter.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't work. So it takes a full spectrum on your health more than just one thing. That's why I think that this discussion is necessary, that your health has to be your priority in every aspect, not just weight loss. Because if you're worried about your health and that becomes what your focus is, other things follow suit, so to speak.
Yep. The side effect of taking care of yourself, eating right, exercise is, the weight's going to come off.
Yeah.
Right.
So like that's what I don't really, I want to lose the weight, but that's not like my focus. Like I get pissed off when I don't drop the weight. Yes. But my focus is I want to get healthy. Like I've talked about it before. I could be 600 pounds. And if I'm healthy, if I can play with my kids, if I can, run up and down the road with them, perfectly fine. But
and on a side note, I've lost over 600 pounds in multiple times and I'm still fat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No, it's totally. And like, I want to live a happy life, healthy. I've got these boys I want to run around with. I want to do stuff with my wife. And like I said, if I want to get my mind right. I want to get my body right, and exercising and eating right. The side effect is losing weight. I'm going to lose this weight because I'm trying to better myself altogether.
Right. And where you're at right now with the plateau, man, like that's where like you have to hammer down on consistency. Like just hammer down those good habits. I think my biggest plateau was about a month long, and man, it was so hard to keep on track. It's like, man, I feel like I'm like crushing it. I'm crushing like every meal, every workout. I feel like I'm doing everything right, and it's just not happening and not happening and not happening.
Yep.
Oh,
I've quit every time I've had a plateau.
No. See that
before.
Yeah, same. And usually for me, it happened after like 6 weeks. I hit a plateau and be done. But at least like this time, my friend Sarah, and she's actually in Detroit, was losing weight at the same time. And I'd vent to her, and she's like, just keep after it, just keep after it, just keep after it. And for those people tuning in, if you're in a plateau, just keep hammering down, keep that skinny pedal down, keep your head down, keep moving forward, keep on the plan. It truly is about consistency at this point. I mean, right. Usually when you hit that first big plateau, it's your body's kind of pumping the brakes. They want you to maintain that just for a hot minute. So like everything else can kind of catch up. Right. I think your body's starting to try. It's stopping the weight loss. It's kind of in a fight or flight type scenario where it's like, okay, hey, look, is this guy going to push through it this time? Because we need to reset these regulatory systems and make sure we're still processing right. We can go forward from this point on. That's why before I told you guys, like after I hit the 50-pound mark, my doctor's like, oh, you got to stop for 3 months. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to stop. And then she's like, that's precisely why you need to stop, so your body can catch up. But
I keep telling myself that during this, because like I've been like 10 pounds up and down in the same area for like a month and a half. And I keep thinking of the story you said. I'm taking my time off. That's all I'm doing right now.
Well, and like the next weekend, my buddy's having a crawfish boil. I mean, I could gain 10 pounds in one day, but then usually by the next Thursday or Friday, I'm back to normal or getting close to it. Right. But I mean, when you hit those plateaus, I think that's one of the hardest things about the journey is a plateau, especially your first big plateau. After you've had like month after month of like, you're dropping, 1 to 2 pounds a week. You might be hitting those 10-pound months or more, depending on what your lifestyle was like before. Like Corey's dropping babies, and and that's just part of it, right? And then you hit that plateau, and you're like, oh no, it's such a mind fuck, man. It really is. Like it kills you. And I think that most people, if they're not 100% committed to it, that's when they 100% fall off, because that's when we all did before. But you got to push through it. You got to keep going. I don't care if it's 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. If it's 3 months, you're in a plateau. Just keep grinding. Tweak your diet. Maybe add more protein, or add more protein 1 week. Next week, swap that protein with more fiber. Next week, swap that protein with something else. You know, are you eating enough fruit? Flip how you're eating stuff during the day. If you're eating
Right.
fruit in the morning, eat fruit in the evening. You know, trick your body a
Yeah.
little bit. Do something like that.
Have an avocado. Throw some fat in there.
Yeah, I eat so much avocado. Avocado, so much.
But you're
Like,
right.
seriously.
And that's kind of where I think my biggest change right now, because I for some reason I go through those little plateaus where it's like a week and I don't move. And I know, like I said earlier, before I'd constantly be dropping, where now it doesn't really concern me at all because my diet's been 100% right the whole time. I'm not
Right.
worried about the weight. That's why the focus is my health. And then all of a sudden I turn around and in like 2 days I lose like 7 pounds. And it's like,
Yep.
oh wow, that's great. And then I'll lose a little bit, and then I just kind of stop for a little bit. My body's just kind of like, nope, we're gonna sit here for a little bit. I'm still
Yeah,
eating good.
but it's like when you're grinding it out and all of a sudden that scale jumps like that, then you're like, oh yeah, got my mojo back. Yeah, it's like, your wife be like, what are you doing? I was like, I gotta go exercise. I don't know why, but I just gotta go. I'll be back in an hour. I don't care if you pace back and forth in the yard, just get up and move around. And you know, but those are those huge wins, man. Like, it's so hard to explain that to someone that hasn't been there before, or someone that's someone that's in their first big plateau and they're really trying to make it work this time. And it's like, oh man, you just trust me, just stay with it, stay consistent, trust the process. I hate using all these buzzwords and cliches, but it's the honest to God truth. Because one day you're going to get up and you're going to take the healthiest dump of your life and you're going to step on that scale and you're like, oh, I'm back. I'm back. And it feels like that, man. It really does. And I'm not faking those emotions, man. It's like because I get up at 4 to work out. You wake up your whole house, you scare the shit out of your wife and kids, and your dog's howling. Like, what's going on? It's like, oh yeah, it's go time, baby. Yeah.
Right.
And it's the best feeling in the world when you break through that plateau, and then it just reinforces everything you've been doing. It's like, I have been doing it right this time. Finally, I unlocked all the right cheat codes. I'm doing the right things for me, and I find my own path. And after all the bullshit I've tried, this is finally it. And it's so simple. It's just eating right and exercising and drinking lots of water, but eating that's right for you. And that's the hardest part is experimenting with that and finding the right that's right for you.
Right. You have to do something, or you have to come to an understanding to be happy with what you're doing, whether you initially aren't or whatever, but you know it's the right choice and that's the decision you made. You have to, accept that, no, this is my forever plan. My wife said something the other day about, needing to build another pit roaster, and I was like, we don't need to do that. My mind's already made up. I don't want to roast a pork butt. I want nothing to do with it, just because what I'm doing, I like, and I love the results, and I love how I feel. And that's what I want from now on. I don't want a deviation off. I don't want to change, in 5 years.
Or you could pit roast some jackfruit or some cauliflower.
Right. Well, what'd she say? Poblano peppers or something, and make it into salsa.
Well, poblano, I mean, that's pretty easy. You just,
right.
Get one of those big things, you turn it as it fires underneath it, and then you peel off the burnt part, chop it all up, and the hatch green chilies are great too down here.
Oh yeah,
hatch a little more spicy, but
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, but it was just that instant thought of, no, I don't, because I knew what the intention was, and I knew what her goal was on it, and it's like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. It's just, I have no interest in that way. That's not for me now. Right. I'm no. But I think that's kind of where you need to be at with some of your own decisions is you need to be happy with what you're doing. You
Right.
need to enjoy it and realize that I don't want to go out for beers with the guys. I don't want to do this because it's not where my main priority is. That's not where my focus is. I want
Yeah.
this instead.
Yep. You have to truly want it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You got to truly want it. You got to, if you don't absolutely 100% want it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, especially if you have a group of buddies that's going to give you just a ton of crap about it. I mean, they know they're still going to be a hard time, but it's when you start cutting out of happy hours, the boys' nights, and or you're bringing your own stuff around, and they're like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know, we got pizza. It's like I can't right now, man. Like I'm
Yeah.
on this plan. They're like, oh, dude, oh, cute, you got a plan. It's like, look, dude, you've never been this big as me. You don't know what it's like to be where I'm at. So either
Right.
you support me or you can go F off. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think that you get to a certain point in your life where it's like, look, I love my friends. I've had some amazing friends for a long, long time, and they'll always be my friends. But either you're going to support me in this right now, 'cause I'm trying my damnedest to get to where I know I want to be and I'm going to be. So either support me or kind of like go fuck off. You know, I mean, it's I
Yeah.
mean, but you kind of have to be that strong to say, okay, look, and these are the same buddies that have seen you fail over and over and over again and see you not make a change. But when you have those statements, you tell them that. Or for me, it's like if you ask for their support, it's like, look, dude, I got to get through this, man. I need you guys in my corner, and I can't come. I can't come to the pub. I can't go to the bar tonight. I can't do that for the next 3 months, man, because I know
Right.
me, and I know that's the beginning of the end for me, because I'm gonna go out for one
Yep.
beer, and that's gonna turn into like three, and that's gonna turn into shots, and that's gonna turn into this, and that's gonna turn into me being, waking up in a pool of wrappers of cheeseburgers and French fries and chocolate shakes and cokes and and it's like I'm some heroin addict, but it's for fast food, late night drunk munchies, and
Yep.
it's not worth it, and that's the hard part, because I mean it's the journey is lonely at times, and it's very lonely, whether you're caught up in your own thoughts when you're exercising. Sometimes I think when you exercise, or you don't exercise a lot and you're getting into it, there's long periods of time in your life that you're completely alone, and it's you and your thoughts. Or for me, I listen to a lot of music, but the thoughts override that,
Hmm.
and you have to be willing to like just jump off the high dive into those thoughts and really take them on as well. And that's, I know that a lot of my videos talk about the mental game, and we talk about it as well, but it's such a huge component of this. I mean, you have to look at those, and you have to understand what made you want to do this. Like Corey, like your example of the Sunday with mom as a coping mechanism,
Hmm.
man, that's still like it holds. I mean, I'm so like, I hate using this term, but I'm blessed to have heard you say those words, because that resonates. It resonates so much with my association with my relationship with food,
Hmm.
and Luke too, with you being like, you're the only kid and food is your friend. I'm like, dude, I get that. I both those examples, like I'm like, that's why, I mean, like, the three of us coming together randomly. Well, actually, it wasn't random. It was all Luke, um, but
The
like
quiet one of the bunch.
but he's really not. He's really not at all. But the cool thing is, like the other day, I ran into a buddy of mine that I did CrossFit with. The guy's been like super in shape forever, but he's such a supportive guy, such an awesome individual. Him and his wife. I bumped into at Walmart. And he's like, dude. And we're chit chatting for a little bit, and he starts asking me all these questions, not only about my videos, but about this one too. I'm like, dude, I didn't know you and your wife. And he's like, dude, we love your stuff, man. It's true. I'm like, they're both fitness people. They're both always been in really good shape, but they understand the struggle. They both, like, Joey is also an amazing CrossFit coach too. But it was just awesome to hear that, and it just reaffirms everything else that we've been doing and we've been sharing.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I've in the past week, I've had 3 personal trainers contact me, but all 3 of them have had the thing of, this is my area of specialty. These are the kind of clients that I work with at time to time. How do you address this issue? or how do you work with that? You know, and that's the thing with personal training is sometimes they get in this, certain direction, but they want to expand to other clients. And I'm kind of,
Well, what I would say is, what do you charge your clients per hour? Okay, well, I'm double that, and then we can
right,
talk.
right. But
But kudos to them to reaching out to you though, man. If they're reaching out, like, how do I get through to this client?
right.
That
Well, some of it's just, I, I have a couple of videos that I've been putting out on certain exercises and stuff, and they're like, how do you, do you find discomfort in this position because your belly's there? Because I tried training, people with this, especially the rowing machine, and they're like, well, I can't train any of my obese clients with the rowing machine because they're discomfortable with it. How are you getting around that? And
it's
it's like,
mental.
right. It's like my thought process on how I get around that is it is uncomfortable. And
It's
that to
supposed to
me,
be.
right. And that to me is I'm telling my body, if you don't like it being there, that it's uncomfortable, get the fuck rid of it. It's
Yep.
time
Yeah.
for it to move on because I'm going to keep putting it there until you're tired of it. So, body, fix yourself if it's uncomfortable. Let's go. We got something to do. We're on a mission.
Unfuck yourself, buddy.
Right. I mean,
Unfuck yourself. Yeah. No, but that's 100% it, because it's a good point too. I mean, like I every once in a while, like, I'll hit my gut against something, like when I'm riding my bike, if it's stopped too fast or whatever it may be. And I'm like, it'll remind me, it's like, oh man, I haven't felt that in a long time. Or a while back, I posted this picture of like my hand in between my steering wheel and my stomach. Right.
uh-huh.
And I was like, holy shit, my stomach used to rub up against my steering wheel. And it
Right.
was like wow, I have come that far. But I mean, I used to have a rower. I absolutely loved it. I mean, it's worth it. I think it's like $940 on it from,
Yeah.
something like that. Totally worth it. But yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're fat, your fat's gonna get in the way.
Right.
Okay.
That's
To all you fat people out there, it's gonna get in the way. It's how it works, man. You got fat. You want to get unfat? Be uncomfortable. Like, be more uncomfortable than you are walking around. Because if you embrace the uncomfortable and you work through it, guess what? It goes away, and
I
it's
had this
easier to do shit.
I had this skinny girl talking to me the other day, and she's skinny, beautiful. And she, we got onto weight loss and stuff a little bit, and she's 130 pounds. Ooh,
Ooh.
right. And she's like,
One
well,
leg.
right.
That's
And
my,
she's
my
like,
left calf.
well, and I don't like how this jiggles. I just don't want it to jiggle. My response to her was, then go fucking jiggle it until it
Yeah.
stops. That's
Yeah.
the goal. If you don't want it jiggling, go jiggle it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's anything else, man. Like especially with girls, women like that. It's like, okay, have you ever done any squats or lunges? No. Well, start there. Body weight exercises. It's that easy, but you have to do the work.
Yep.
You don't like your back fat. Do something about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I think it's easy for me to say it now. I mean, trust me, I'm not, the poster boy for men's health by any means, but if you look at my blood work, you might think different.
Always
Right.
bragging about the blood work.
Dude, I mean, come on, man. Yes, I'm gonna brag about my blood work. 2 years in a row. Tri-county champion. No, but
when your doctor
but,
looks at you and goes, okay, I need to know how to do this.
yeah,
That's
Well,
when, I mean,
yeah, and she's had me do videos for her too, and like I'm here to interact with with some of her clients if they want to talk. But yeah, I mean, I am gonna brag about my blood work. I worked my ass off to get to that. I mean, I had to like scare, like literally look death in the eyes. Well, not literally like Corey has, but like for me, I had to realize I was going down that path for me to change, for me to give a shit about myself, to change
Yeah.
to the point where and I think about the number of hours I've put in to do it, and it's astronomical. It's mind blowing. And like I tell people, I rode my bike 6,000 miles last year, and they're like, "What? Why?" I'm like, "Because I'm afraid of being fat ever again. The fear drives me. I mean, like fear was my biggest threat, not starting this process. But now the fear drives me because I never want to be back the way I was. Like when I don't want to do it and I push myself to do it, I will do it. but yeah, I do like bragging about that because it's a hell of an accomplishment, man.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But call me out, baby. Call me out. I'll talk about it.
Right. It's,
Yeah.
it's a reality though, and life is reality. It's one of those things.
Boom.
But
Plug.
yeah, absolutely.
That's at life is reality. At life is
Yeah.
reality.
Find us on YouTube. Link
Well,
in the description.
Yes.
I was actually going to touch on that and say if they haven't watched your video that you put out, that well, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the one about your story.
The
Yeah.
seven faces
Like,
of death.
I was like 10 seconds in and I'm like, my God, this is deep.
I
This is real. Like I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I couldn't turn it
I
off.
still, I'll be honest, I haven't not watched it or listened to it yet, but I did read it when you sent it to me.
Yeah.
So I am making time this week to watch it, just because I know now that I've read it and now that I know you, it's going to be even better than when I read it. I was like, wow, wow. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, I thought my shit was bad, and but yeah, but here you are, man. You're spreading the gospel, and that's a beautiful thing. You're still alive, and you're kicking ass, and you're doing it. But it's like, I guess I mean I could segue that into like if people are concerned about where they're at and what they're doing, and they need help, go to group therapy. Go to an Overeater Anonymous or any of the anonymous groups and
Join
talk
the
to those
weight
people.
loss group
Right.
in ours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, like you need to hear other people's stories. You need to hear that because when you think, like I've referenced my cousin that was a heroin addict before, and she'll get on Facebook and start complaining about stuff, right? And she has every right to. But then I tell her, I'm like, look, you have this day now.
Right.
When you were an addict before, you didn't. Every day was not guaranteed. But now that you're clean, every day you need to make something every day. You need to look at the bright side of that, and you need to embrace that. Just like, I think that when people are down on themselves or they think they can't do things and they think that I couldn't possibly do that, you need to talk to people like us that have been there, that can share stories that are much worse than you think that you ever are, and
Right.
that like and share stuff that we did, like I was in our chat about the dirty secrets of a fat guy, right? All those things about like making excuses or like hiding food or like different habits you had just to make sure that you didn't have the fat guy funk or this that, and the other. We all have those things that no one talks about because they're taboo, but we
Mm-hmm.
all do. We all
Yeah.
do them in different ways. Just like we're all we do different things to cover up or to not start or to be afraid to start or not want to ask those questions. But when you go to a group therapy session and learn everyone's stories, like your worst day is someone else's best day.
Well, and
And
Oh yeah.
I want to add a little bit to that. I think
please,
a lot of people with, weight problems and being obese, we automatically kind of put ourselves in this hole, and we don't realize how many people out there, whether they're overweight or whether they're healthy, truly want to help. I mean, there's a large amount of people that if you ever open up and say, okay, that's it, I submit, I need help. There's a lot of people out there that want to help. You just have to
Mhm.
be willing to receive the help. And two, when you're dealing with obesity, is this is going to sound bad, it's an acceptable addiction and a necessary addiction.
yep,
So many people get confused on, because you look at a heroin addict, it's heroin, the heroin's the problem. When you try to talk about food addiction, you have to have food. So it's hard to get that correlation of how do you break food addiction when you have to have food? And how do you relate to somebody else that my eating that is a necessity is a problem? It's a big confusion that a lot of us have. Well, I have to eat. You do have to eat. You have to deal with it in a different way, or talk to somebody who's had that issue of, you need to focus on these reasons why you want to eat what you're eating and why you're going down this path. So I think it's one of those things where that mental aspect of it gets pushed to the side because so few people want to address it, because it's challenging to say, no, your eating is a problem. Plain and
Yeah.
simple.
Touching on both of those, like, so you both know that I do the Overeaters Anonymous. I go to the meetings and I'm working the steps. And I think the thing with that program that's helped me the most is knowing that the 30 people in the meeting, or even on Thanksgiving, I went to a meeting and there was like 300 or 500 people. Every single one of those people know what I'm going through, whether it's, and OA isn't just for fat people. It's not just for people that overeat. There's people with bulimia that's in there. There's any issue with food, OA talks about it. So if anybody listening to this would like to go to that, check that out, oa.org. It's an amazing program. And like we're talking though, knowing that I'm not alone, that all these people in this meeting know what I'm struggling with, it makes all the difference in the world. I don't feel alone. I don't feel that there's just something wrong with me because I love to overeat. No, it's, this person and that person know what it's like too. And we can talk and we can relate and what worked for you. It's an awesome feeling.
But two things. One, you have to accept that you have an issue, and two, you have to ask for help. But to your point earlier, Corey, is that like once you've asked for help, you have to be open to receiving the help. And that part is phenomenally hard because you have to constantly accept your reality. Your life is reality. but that's I know I'm joking about it, but that's so hard, man. When people are like, oh, okay, oh, cool, you want help? Great. Let's look at your diet. Oh yeah, you eat like you should be dead. You should probably be dead. How you eat, I don't know actually how you're alive. So let's fix that. And you're like, whoa, dude, like I just asked for help, and now you make me feel like the complete shitbag I am. And that kind of stuff, like when you ask for help from people, and then like you talk to a dietitian or you talk to someone like that, they just get so into helping you, they forget to be kind sometimes and to forget how fragile you are, right? And a lot of times, a lot of us got to that size because we were fragile, because we're vulnerable. Something happened, and now we're this big because that it's such a fucking downward like law of diminishing returns. Yeah, it is. It's a law of diminishing returns because like it's like, I eat because of this, but I feel even worse because I eat because I'm like this, because I eat because I'm like this, and blah blah blah. So when you ask for help and people are helping you, they don't know that spiral. They don't know that how deep and dark this can be at different times. So every time they're like, oh yeah, just don't eat those 14 cookies and have this carrot. It's just that easy. It's like, yes, it is that easy, but no, it's nowhere near that easy because those 14 cookies, 13, no, 14. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm saying I'm not going to go start getting on my rooftop and picking people off because something triggered me that day because something that happened when I was like 7, right? And that kind of stuff. Like people don't realize though how layered it is, and and that's man, it's so hard to explain to people. And like when I now when I see someone that's obese, that's struggling, I want to go up to them and I want to help them, but I don't want to be so invasive where they get pissed off and they'd be like, how I was like, what do you want from me? Are you trying to scam me? I'm not paying you shit. Get away from me. But I don't know how to bridge that, right? I don't know how to bridge it. I wish I could, because I see people and you can tell they're out and you tell they're uncomfortable and you can tell they're trying to make a better change. And then I look at their cart and I see like 6 cases of Coke and I'm like, no. You have to break the cycle.
You do. And I had somebody contact me this last week, and this person was emotionally just depleted. Their struggle was a reality to a point to where they had watched one of my videos, and they contact me and basically said they have to talk to somebody. And they were struggling with they're struggling with, food addiction and a serious sugar addiction and stuff. And we talked for 45 minutes or so. I live zoomed her or done a Zoom meeting so she face to face, and she absolutely hated it. So no, you got to take a step. We aren't going to text. We're going to talk, and you're going to look at me in the face, and I'm going to look at you in yours. And she didn't want to because she was ashamed of herself. And I was like, well, that's the first step. That's where you gotta start breaking some of these bounds. And so we're talking and stuff, and she's like, well, what do I need to do for a diet? I was like, okay, this is what you do. And I broke down a list of like 15 to 20 foods. And I said, what I want you to do is eat at least this much of these. She goes, well, what do I cut out? Absolutely nothing. Just try to get these first. That's all you do.
Yep.
She's like, well, I don't have to quit eating this or this or this. I said, mentally, no. I said, but as long as you eat these things first, then see and ask yourself, why do I want that?
Yep.
And if you get this much of your food first, and that's your focus, is I want to make sure that I have a well-rounded, diverse diet that's, got some good solid fiber to it and, good nutrition to it. I said, and if you feel that you have to have a cupcake after eating that, go ahead and have a cupcake today. We aren't taking anything away. Do this for a week and see how you feel and see what you want. Start there.
Well,
Add food.
Yeah, well, and it goes to what you're saying. We talked about it earlier, like whatever, an hour ago, whatever. But eat the good stuff first. See how you feel, and hopefully she gets back to you and be like, I ate the chicken, or I ate the broccoli, or I ate this, that, and the other, and then yeah, I was still hungry half an hour later, so I ate more of it, and then all of a sudden I started feeling like just better, and.
Right.
And for me, I know, like, I referenced those first 3 months when I went like super clean eating and stuff like that. But when I allowed myself to have that blizzard for my birthday, and I ate it all, and then I passed out. I literally passed out on the couch from the sugar, like the sugar crash. It took me out. And then, like, I could literally feel it in my joints. Like, my elbows hurt from the sugar.
Oh yeah.
It was just absolutely mind blowing and eye opening, and like the third eye or whatever, like it finally clicked. It's like, oh, this is what they all mean about this, right? This is why we're supposed to not eat, a pound of sugar for a meal, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But I make light of it, but that's it, man. I really hope this girl this person, this woman, or whatever pronoun, really takes it to heart and tries, man. Like, are you following up with her soon, or?
Yeah, I was going to try to reach out to her tonight and try to do another Zoom and talk to her and see how she's doing. But like you said, approaching somebody, unless they're ready to make that decision, or unless they're ready to try to listen, it's really hard, because I see it like you do all the time. It's like, man, I know how to start helping where you're at. I know the situation somebody's going through, and it's, that inherent, where I said, there's a lot more people out there willing to help than what most people think, is true. And we're all, each one of them, that, somebody contacts me and says, I need help. I want to help. It's one of those things that I can relate. I do want to help, how we can. The same as you guys help me, whether you realize it or not. This is my therapy session. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
No, I openly admit that when we talk, man. Like, this is just as much for me as it is for anyone listening.
Right. Absolutely. But
but that's it. I mean, like, when we talk, I mean, I always feel like elated when we get off these calls, and I do have to leave shortly because it's bath time.
I just got
sure you wash behind your ears.
Oh, not exactly. Not for me, but yeah, for the kiddos. But yeah, I mean, like, yes, I mean, when we got this call, I feel better about everything. I mean, I know that we talk and we share, and it's 100% from the heart, and we do joke around and have a good time doing it, but we're at that comfort level with each other. We can do that. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I hope that what we're doing helps one person. If it helps one person, then it's 100% worth it. And that's what I've always said about me doing Fat to Chubby. And then when in the same day, I had two friends reach out to me and like, hey, you don't know this, but I lost X amount of weight because of you. And you've been my silent You've been my secret buddy during this whole process.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it just happened that two people I know, like in the same day, reached out to me, and I took their names off it and reposted it. But like, it's like, man, you have no idea how amazing that makes me feel. And it's like, that's the whole point of it. It was an outlet for me to give back for free, right? I'm not going to charge people money for doing what we're doing. Uh, but it's just, like, we do this. Luke, thank you for setting this up. Thank you for asking me before this. I mean, this is awesome for me, but it's about giving back and about getting the word out there and getting the message out there. It is therapy. It is group therapy. It is, whatever, weight loss, or group health or fitness or help. I can't even talk anymore. Health. Yeah.
I want to normalize it,
Yeah. Well, no.
if we could normalize this, and it's okay for men, a big part of it is men, as we're supposed to be big and bad, and we're not supposed to worry about this kind of thing, and I'm not against helping women either. I love helping. I just want to help people. But the big thing for me is
looks like, oh, I love helping the ladies.
Women.
Oh yeah, ladies.
Need some help? Contact Luke.
Oh yeah.
It's about
I peel the best carrots.
It's about doing better, and helping anybody that will take it. Well, we got to end this, boys.
Oh, God.
Well, I want to add one thing that I think a lot of people automatically think that, by needing help is showing a weakness. But there's a great leader doesn't do everything themselves. No. A great leader automatically delegates, and he finds people who are stronger than they are in certain areas, and they give them the direction which goes to the overall goal. And I think that, in a sense, we each have to be a leader of our own lives and find what we need and use that resource to our advantage. It's not a weakness going, you know what, I really suck at this. I just need somebody to smack me in the back of the head every time I go to do this, or, whatever it is that we're lacking, or just, I need to hear somebody talk, like Tony Robbins or whatever. There's some people that just get so motivated after hearing him talk. They just want to hear him talk and they're fired up again. Great. Find those resources.
I will say this. I mean, as men, I don't think it's a weakness. It's just stuff we don't know. I mean, if that makes you weak, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm becoming more of a well-rounded just human being, if not a well-rounded man, by learning all this now about nutrition, about how to fuel ourselves better, how to build ourselves better. Right. I mean, you can spin it however you need to, but I mean, I feel like I'm a more complete human now, knowing how my body reacts to different foods, how I can influence my children to live a better, healthier life, to not make the decisions I made to get where I was at, but to learn from the good things I am doing.
Yep. Yeah. And on that note, we probably should wrap up for the evening.
Yeah.
We'll try to put links in the description the best we can. We'll try to answer any questions. Join us on Trimming the Fat support group. Ask any question you want over there. We've actually had a pretty good influx. I know some people have come over from a couple of my videos. Some more people are finding us and stuff. And, it's a good little community to open platform to, talk and be able to put things out there and ask for help. Luke?
And if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Yeah. And don't hesitate to leave a comment in the YouTube as well. It'll let more people actually see the videos and hopefully get more help out of it. We'd greatly appreciate it. Luke, where can we find you at and what's going on?
Oh, I'm excited. I just got my website officially done. So it is lukelosespodcast.com. I'm official.
Nice. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'm at Fat to Chubby everywhere. You guys have a wonderful night.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.